Hey Ringside crew, welcome to the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. And now here's your host, Joe, Panther III.
Hello there, wrestling fans, and welcome to another episode of the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. I am Joe Panther III, and Ringside crew, you're in for a treat. Let's give a warm Dudes at Ringside welcome to Alexander Lockhart. Welcome to Dudes at Ringside, Alexander. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited ever since you reached out.
Awesome, Alexander. So if my American fans, if they're not familiar with you, introduce yourself.
So my name is Alexander Lockhart, and I sort of came into wrestling a bit differently, and I always loved the Divas division. So I am the UK's sort of biggest diva fan wrestler. I put it into what I do, and hopefully I'm a little bit different to everyone else in that respect of loving
Awesome.
a different side of wrestling that a lot of people do.
Yeah, there's a lot of fans that love the Diva era, like Divas era when they had the butterfly belt, like you have behind you. But what would you say? What would you say would have been like your you know how everybody has like a timeline?
Yes.
What would you be like? How old were you when you first saw your very first wrestling match?
So probably my timeline is 2008 to about 2014. So when I first started wrestling, my first match about 15. So I'm that sort of era that people really didn't like. Well, a lot of people didn't like. I love it, and there's loads of people that do. But it's definitely the era of wrestling that maybe look down upon now, but it means the world to me. So yeah.
So with the internet, the age of the internet and finding things on the internet, or like, how did you find the school you trained at?
The school I trained at, it's actually interesting. I actually found my first wrestling school at 16. And it was
wow.
I was really, really young. And I lasted about 4 months. I didn't fit in. I really didn't fit in as this like queer kid going to like my first wrestling school. I couldn't relate to any of the guys. A lot of them were like older than me, and they didn't really see what I loved about wrestling. So I ended up leaving for a really long time. And then the pandemic hit, and I saw a poster. I was walking home from work, and it was for a wrestling show. And I was like, I wonder if they have any wrestling school. And they didn't, but I found a different one in Woolwich, and it completely changed my life when I went back.
Awesome. So how long did it take you to feel when you went back to the school and you officially were training? How long did it make you feel like this is home?
Actually, quite quickly. The wrestling school I went back to, it's called Play Fight. It's in Woolwich. It's run by Cora Noir and his wife Claire. Spike Trevay also teaches there, and Nina Samuels. You probably know Nina Samuels from NXT. Really quickly, they had a women's and non-binary class, and I ended up going to that. And within a couple of months, I was in the full swing of it, and I haven't left. They can't get rid of me. So...
well, when you had your first match,
yes.
Did you have your gear planned out yet?
Or God.
Did you just go in with a pair of basketball shorts or like gym pants that you found in a t-shirt, or did you have the gear ready?
I don't know if it's the same in America, where like first match rite of passage, you go on Amazon and you find whatever you can find. I don't know if that's something that really happens over here.
There's a
person
I interviewed recently that didn't even have gear yet. They had to find someone that knew somewhere on Amazon that would be appropriate to wear, you know?
So that's exactly what I did. I went on Amazon and I found this sort of singlet. It was probably for something a bit erotic, not wrestling.
Oh, jeez.
I found this like singlet, and I found these fluffy boot warmers. And I was a little bit overweight, I was a bit chubby going into that. Completely different now, but I look back and I think, oh my gosh, I looked awful. But it got the job done. I got booked again. So
it's crazy. Do you remember who you faced that night?
I do. It was against Livy Grace. She's a very incredible women's wrestler over here in the UK. She definitely travels Europe. And she was so lovely to me for my first match. I was so scared. And it was so much fun. It was a promotion called Fist Club. It's sort of a drag wrestling themed show. And it's brilliant. They bring the wrestlers out, and there's a bar, and it's more about a late night cabaret show. And I just fell in love, and I just wanted to do it again and again.
That's awesome. When it comes to like your training, the week of a show, do you have a different training regimen that you would do if there wasn't a show?
I train like a crazy person anyway, so I don't just train at my normal place, my normal school in Woolwich. I also train with Mike Bird, a very famous Welsh wrestler at Catch 22. And I also train down in Margate with TPW and SJ Randall. So I'm training like 4 or 5 times a week normally. But just when it's a show week, I really pull back with my diet, and I really try and sort of lean down, and I just hit the gym more.
So after a show, when you're like done helping take down and pull the trailers away, where's that one place you go out for dinner, or do you bring a dinner with you?
I'm really fussy with my food. I really like to make sure that I'm definitely on my diet, and I try and be really, really good. But to be really honest, British wrestlers, after a show, they just want to get a drink. So it's normally the closest bar, the closest pub, and maybe takeaway on the way home. I won't, but definitely like chips and a kebab on the way home.
You mean like what Americans call it, French fries and fish and chips, or just French fries?
Chips, not French fries. French fries are different. They're like the skinny chips in the UK. I'm talking about the fat ones. We just call them chips.
Oh, you mean like the steak fries? We call them steak fries here in America.
Yeah. Normally covered in cheese as well. That's a really big thing. Is cheese chips and gravy. We have gravy with chips as well.
Okay, in America, here we go. This is a girl I watch on YouTube. Just goes in America. I mean, like she has like an American. I don't know if you ever watch her videos. She uses American words, and then she'll use it in England in the British term. So in America, what you like is called disco fries.
I've heard of disco fries. Is that just with everything on top?
Yes, with the gravy, cheese. There's disco fries that are buffalo disco fries. There's like all kinds of southern fries.
We would call them like dirty fries in the UK. I think. I could be wrong, but like dirty fries. That's what that would be.
Yeah. Yeah, so you like the disco fries. If you ever came to the States and I was at a show with you, I would have to be like your interpreter, like Paul Heyman. I'd be like, yes, this is a disco fry. Yeah, stop laughing. It's called disco fries. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm quite strict. I can't remember the last time I had fries or chips. I generally can't remember.
Like, yeah. So let's talk about your friend. Let's give a big shout out to your buddy, the one that we were talking about. That was we thought we should have been hanging out with us today. Let's give a big shout out to her. Like, what does it feel to have a fellow friend in the business like her?
Abby Cartwright. We met actually at our wrestling school. She's a little bit more experienced than I am. And she's incredible. We just click. Her personality and my personality, we just work together. And we're both really, really horrible characters in the ring, and we just bounce off each other, and we have no problem playing the fool. So it just works, and our abilities work. There's not a lot of sort of intergender tag teams. There's not loads around, and it's quite refreshing. I don't think a lot of people don't always see that. It's not on every show you see a sort of an intergender sort of tag team. So yeah, I'm really proud of what we've done.
I've seen. It was like that clip I saw. She was giving Vicky Two Thumbs like a submission hold. It was almost like Mick Foley pulls the sock out of his tights. She pulled like the gloves out of her shorts.
She will happily stab people with pens. She will make people read her book, and she will choke people and then like hold her book in front of them because they need to learn.
Yeah. I remember her as Bookworm, so it's kind of hilarious.
Yeah, I didn't know her before then. That was more the back end when we met, was probably when she started to change into this sort of Abby Cartwright, and she's got her own chronicles, and she's writing her own wrestling story, which is absolutely brilliant. Yeah, well, that's her whole thing. Every match is a story.
You should tell her this when you speak to her later on. Tell her Joe Panther III, he actually wrote a wrestling story. He hasn't finished it yet, but it's just a fictional story. I'm thinking about changing it and making it like my podcast and journey, and then because my guy's supposed to become a wrestler, but I'm going to just change it up that after my first encounter in the ring, I get knocked out and then I just want to just talk to people on the internet. Like I got so scared that I just changed it.
I'll let her know. I will let her know.
Yeah, she probably be like, really? He's writing I'm not even a wrestler. I'm like, I just thought maybe it'd be kind of cool to make us write about being a wrestler. But then I'm going to be like, I may need to get insight about ring talk because no one's going to understand the book if they don't watch wrestling. Yeah. So have you ever thought of coming to the States to wrestle?
I mean, if someone wants me, I'll come. I'd love to. I'd literally, if someone books me, I will come. It would be a dream because at the end of the day, that's what I watched. You know, I watched sort of WWE and TNA. I absolutely loved TNA as a kid. That was what I actually had on telly because we didn't pay for Sky and we didn't pay for WWE, but it would be my dream to mix it up with anyone. I love working with people that aren't always from the UK. It's quite rare that I have, but everyone has a different point of view and everyone has a different background. And we have a lot of French. I worked with some couple of French people, some guys from Spain. I was at I was training at Rev Pro, and some guys come over from Barcelona, and it's so refreshing to work with people that's just different. It's really, really cool.
Awesome. If my fans want to follow you on social media, Alexander, how can they find you?
Instagram is like my favorite thing. It's our like portal to the world. So it's Alexander Lockhart X. Facebook as well, Alexander Lockhart, and I'm on X as well. But yeah, I always post little things, and if fans message me, I always try my best to reply. Even I check my message requests. So, and if you've got any questions, just drop me a message. I love
awesome. I see you had merch on Instagram with those awesome t-shirts you were bringing out.
Yes.
Anybody wants to buy a shirt, where can they find it?
I literally this month I've got my t-shirts. So as soon as they're ready, I'll post it on Instagram. Any show, I'll bring them with me as well. But as soon as things are ready, I will post it on there. So yeah, thank you.
Don't forget to collab with me. I definitely want to help you promote your shirts. Maybe one of my ringside crew will be like, hey, can you ship it to the US? Like,
oh, it's not. I'll send you a shirt. Thank you. I will send you one.
All right, no problem. If there's any young, inspiring fans that want to become wrestlers like you did, take the journey you have done so far, Alexander, what kind of advice would you give them?
Don't be scared. Just go for it. At the end of the day, and Spike Gervais told me this, wrestling and your dreams are a lot closer than you think they are. Wrestling is still quite small, especially in the UK. And it is obviously growing all the time. But anything goes. You can be anyone. You don't have to be ripped with a six-pack and come out and do flippy things. You can tell a story, and don't be afraid to what other people are sort of wrestle like no one's watching. Obviously, everyone's watching, but just bring your own character. If you've got an idea, anything goes. If you want to come out and be Superman, then do that. If you want to come out and be dress in drag and wrestle in drag, then do that. It doesn't. Anything goes. Anything can stick in wrestling as well. So just have fun with it and follow your dreams, because in wrestling, I think they definitely do come true.
Awesome. Alexander, I want to thank you so much for taking this opportunity and coming on the Dudes at Ringside podcast and come hanging out with my Ringside crew. Definitely go give Alexander a huge follow on all his social medias. Definitely give this video a like, a share, and please give me a subscribe. It really helps me a lot and gets my name known anywhere and everywhere in the country and outside the country. Remember, support your local independent promotion. Go out, buy a ticket. If you see a poster in a gas station and you've never seen it before, check out the address, see how you can buy a ticket, see when the date is, go buy it. It may change your world. You may think wrestling was boring and stupid and fake as a kid, and then you want to go watch it. Go do it. Take the type of opportunity. Go check out the wrestlers you never checked before. I'm Joe Panther III.
I'm Alexander Lockhart. Thank you so much for having me.
And we will check you in the next one.